So this is a short video to show the workings of our WADKIN PAR MK2 machine. So we're going to lift up the hood, the servicing hood, to show the layout of the blades. First of all, the cover is kept padlocked. Padlock's kept in a separate office. Safety feature to allow the blades to stop rotating before the hood is lifted up. And the nuts removed. Dave, take the nut off, please. And the hood lifts up out of the way. What we have here is a 300mm wide surfacing block and a 100mm wide edging block, vertical block. This is belt driven. It's got a 10 horsepower motor, and the same belt and motor drives the thicknessing table as well. The vertical has a 7.5 horsepower motor, and that again drives both blocks. These blades here are traditional knives, resharpenable knives. Those are terser knives there. Those are fiddly, especially on the thicknessing side, so we use terser for those. These use a setting gauge, and I'll show you later in the video how that setting gauge actually makes this a very quick and accurate operation. This is the gauge for the servicing table. So basically you just lean on the handle here, goes from 0 to 10. Obviously generally you'd be taking off between somewhere around 2 and 6 millimeters. Doesn't need a lock, sets up in seconds. That's the servicing table, and then the side head is here. Again, this one here, there's a lock on it, and then this handle here moves it from 0 to 10, lock it back in position, set in seconds. Servicing table. That's the dial there. So that's set, then locked. This is set then. This doesn't need locking, it just automatically sits there. We've got here a 2-meter in-feed table. We make a lot of doors, so very useful for straightening timber. That was an option extra when it first came out. This machine was at a 1500mm table, but it's a great boon to have the extra. We also have a bolt-on extension table on there, which has been removed for clarity at the moment. But that table itself is another about 2 meters, so very helpful in straightening the timber. So this is the surfacing feed unit, which, as you can see, lifts up out of the way. So it's belt driven. It means that you can safely and accurately surface the timber on the first pass. Back down now. So nuts put back on, and then it's padlocked. Okay. So now we'll have a look at the feed unit itself. Generally, it's when you're doing thinner timber, such as inch stock, for example. There's a hook up there, isn't there, Dave? Can you just lower that away?
Yeah.
So there's generally it sits down near the table, and as you push the timber through, it rides up over the timber, whatever thickness it is, and pulls it through. This guard here, this is there because when you use wider timber, such as if you're doing a lot of stair strings, for example, 300mm wide timber, you can move the whole feed unit towards the centre, and then the guard will go across there. Loosens up here, basically. Yeah. So that loosens off down here, and then you can pull it away, and then loosen off here, and that's obviously that's guarding your blade. So you push that back, and then you can use that for wider stock. So if you just push it back to the original position, Dave.
Yep.
as I said before, this feed unit will it will ride up over the timber. So as you push the timber through from the back, it automatically rides up over, keeping the pressure down. But if you're doing a lot of thicker timber, you can actually lift that up out of the way and you can hook it out of the way. So for example, doing a lot of 2.5-inch timber for windows or whatever, you can then lift that up and it will hook it out of the way, so it's easier to push the timber through. That's basically what it's for, like that. So that hooks up out of position. So the controls are here basically. So what you've got is you've got on button, then you've got your horizontal block, vertical block, and generally speaking, they have to get up to speed before your feed will start to work. So that's both blocks running, and then that's the feed. So this is a case in point. Now someone wants to service the blades or look at the machine, then they have to go to the office, get a key, undo the padlock, or they can lift the hood up, by which time the blade has stopped. So this is the thicknessing side. What you've got is you've got a thicknessing table, which is these red lags here, which is what pulls the wood through. The original model, Mark I, used to have a continuously smooth rubber belt there, but that was problematical because you get shavings underneath the belt, and so you've got accuracy problems. So this was the main difference in the Mark II. They've introduced this, what was called a lag belt. The lags are, there are inserts in the chains, and the lags tap into those, screw into those with these machine screws, and so they can be changed. You've got rise and fall here. So from 100 up to whatever. Dave, could you just wind that up, please? So basically, when you wind it up, this is the actual dimensioning fence here. So Dave, could you just push that across a bit? Yeah. So that's the fence there. So what you've got here is a gauge. So if you want to dimension your stock to 120 wide, you set it to the gauge there, lock the fence, and your timber is guided through here. This is the thicknessing fence here, and there's a safety feature whereby if you wind it up, initially it will only go to about 12 mil, because it stops your operator winding the lag bit up into the blades, and in order to go thinner, which you can, in theory down to 4 mil, but you can then, you move this out the way, so pull that out of the way, yeah, pull that back to 300, isn't it, right out the way, and then there's actually a groove there, which it slots into, and it will wind up to, that's it, so then it will wind up to the all finished measurement. I don't think we ever go over about 6, do we? So basically you can go thinner timber, obviously dimension it, once it's dimensioned, then you can go thinner. Also, if you've got pieces, say, of 3 inch, then you can put multiple pieces through if you need to. So, another little safety feature here, if you've got timber that is too thick to go through, then there's a cutout there which if it strikes that it will stop.